Okay, so Legion 1.5 didn't happen. We're still in Legion. Since our last video, the actual dump of the teaser of the rule changes popped out. All 4 articles have been out because it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Legion's not dead. I'm not flipping the table, so that's good.
It's a 5x10 table.
Yeah, I'm not flipping this table. I said it would be probably an empty end table that I was going to flip.
Yeah, you can't do this one.
No, I can't. So
Tyler hulks out, flips table.
Well, I mean, if they would have killed my game, maybe. So what did they do? The biggest thing that they've added in and changed is there's now going to be a passing mechanic. I used it last night in my game. It's interesting. Can be cool, I think. Yeah. It's not going to be a huge game changer, but it is a cool mechanic to help out us 8 activation.
I think it'll take, I think it's going to take a little time for us to kind of figure out the best way to use it. I'm sure somebody's going to figure out a way to break it at some point.
Yeah. But it's not...
Or if not break it, but yeah.
Maybe abuse it. Maybe. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest change. That's concrete, confirmed. We saw the rules for it.
Yeah.
The other thing they've talked about is movement is changing. A lot of people never did this, and I always felt like whenever I brought this up, I got called like a rules lawyer. Is the movement tool, especially the infantry bases were supposed to move along the movement tool, which is their base is wider than the movement tool, so you couldn't be right up against the building. Right. You had to be a little ways. Hardly anybody was doing that right anyway, so they've just totally gotten rid of it. You just pick your guy up and he teleports. As long as the movement tool fits down into there, you're good. So that's kind of cool. You then put everybody in cohesion with them. You're good to go. So we'll see how that affects vehicles, because it does say you just pick up the unit leader and place them.
Oh, yeah.
So our vehicle's going to still displace. We don't know. We don't have the whole rule.
We don't know yet. And then if they fit, do they have to fit still?
Right.
Yeah. Well, so we'll figure that out.
So we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
They then also changed climbing, and this is where we thought a change was going to be because the grappling hooks went up a point in the points update, and they did change it because now anybody can go up height 1 with a speed 1 move. So that's kind of big because there's no more clambering. There's no more
that we know of it.
They've said that they removed it, at least in the blurb.
Yeah.
So you can only go up height 1 and down height 1. So there's rumors going around that the grappling hooks will allow you to go up height 2. There's rumors that you'll be able to use your full movement. Who knows? As of right now, it's you can do a speed 1 move and you can go up height 1. So that's kind of cool. Does add more vertical surfaces that everybody can get to now, more accessible, I guess.
Right.
So
which then it kind of like with Wookiees and with the expert climber and
scale and things like that and jump.
And how that's gonna affect all of that in the game.
Because if they change it too much, is jump even worth it? I mean,
don't know.
We don't know.
Don't know yet. Yep.
Let's see the other. So they did. I'm trying to think what the other one was before the big. My opinion. Yeah, that's the big one. I'm trying to remember what the third one was, because there was movement, passing. Mm-hmm. Oh, the silhouettes. Mm-hmm. So line of sight. We'll have to wait. Again, we don't have the full thing for it, but pretty much now they're cylinders. It is what it is. It's not just a silhouette. You're now a cylinder for the small base minis and for the vehicles as well. And they just showed one for notched vehicles or one for notched troopers, or notched based minis, I should say, and then one for vehicles is just up to the whole of the armor, and it's very specific. It says not counting antenna, riders, or anything, which means the speeder bike profile got insanely smaller, and it doesn't go outside of the base. So our barks now can't be shot because the front end of it's sticking out beyond anything. It's the base. But that also means it's a lower profile because you're not using the rider for it. So we'll see how that plays out.
How it's worded.
You can shoot at units. Let's see, how is it worded? Pretty much, if you can only kill the units you can see, but you no longer have to kill the model that's seen. So you can't terrain scope, in essence. But that also means then that strike teams can be killed in 2 shots, as opposed to you can only see the unit leader, who is the sniper. You shoot, you kill him, he then teleports to the back guy and takes his spot. That no longer can happen because you can't remove the leader until he's the last mini lost.
Right.
The other thing is if you say have a droid player who's got 6 or 7 of his guys behind a line of sight blocker, and the unit leader is within range 1 of the intercept point or on the key position, you're going to have to shoot that unit 8 times to kill it, because you can only take 1 wound off of it at a time, because you can only see the 1 mini. And you don't have to lose that mini. He can lose the guys you can't see.
Yeah. So it's the owning model, or the owning defender pulls the mini he wants to pull.
Correct. So you can't train scope the heavy anymore. But that is, we'll see. Again, we don't see everything.
Yeah.
The other debate that's going on is, okay, if the 1 mini I can see is in clear line of sight, everybody else is out of line of sight. The consensus is, at least from the people who I've talked to and seen online, your shot at that unit leader is open. He gets no cover because the minis you can't see are not included at all.
Right.
For the determination, which makes sense.
Yeah.
If the unit leader is out in the open and I can only kill 1 guy, he shouldn't get the benefits of the cover of the rest of his army.
Right.
So again, we don't know that for certain.
We don't know yet,
because the rules decided not to drop, and we're going to get into that in about 2 minutes.
Right.
And then the other big thing is suppression and panic. They have now said you no longer run when you are panicked. You stay put and you drop any objective token you had, you've now dropped. It goes to the unclaimed status. That's fairly big, because now your speed 3 Mandos are not going to panic off the board. Sabine's not going to panic off the board. Right. They're just going to sit there and take more fire. It is odd that they said that at the end of the activation, when a unit was panicked, they then remove suppression equal to their courage. So that seemed kind of odd. They're like, well, that doesn't really make any sense, because now you're just going to not really be panicked anymore. Or again, because you're taking off all your suppression if you leave there. It has been talked about in forums, on Facebook. It's been unofficially hinted at that panic is going to be a always checking state now. So again, and this is speculation. If that's true, that means the suppression gun lines can get way more benefit out of their suppressive weapons now, because if it's turn 2, turn 4, turn 6 on intercept the transmission, or turn 6 on any other mission, and you put enough items, enough suppression on that unit, because it states that panicked units cannot score held victory tokens, which is why everybody thinks it's going to be a constant now, because it says if you panic at the start of your activation, you drop it. Well, how can you be holding a victory token if you are panicked? And it's because you're going to check for panic as you go. So if you've got your phase 1s and they've got the box for recover the supplies, and it's the final turn, and somebody shoots them with a suppressive weapon, they now have 2 suppression on them. If they're not in range of their commander, they're now panicked. They haven't dropped the box yet, but they don't get to count it at the end of the turn. If they're within range of their commander, okay, you got to shoot them again with another suppressive weapon. Or if they've got Kenobi or Anakin or Yoda, they've got to shoot them a couple more times. But that gives other people options with their suppressive weapons to help alleviate that.
Yeah. And issue. And what a lot of it is going to be is you don't have to. So if you, take a unit of Wookiees and you put them on an objective,
you don't have to kill the 12 wounds now.
You don't have to kill the 12 wounds. You just got to hit them enough to where they're panicked. They're panicked.
And if they've already gone, then they can't roll off their suppression.
Yep, and they can't
and
score.
now they're not scoring.
Yep, they're not scoring now. And so it does add a little bit of depth to it.
Yeah, it does.
And
we'll see. Again, this is conjecture.
Yeah,
we're
speculation.
We're pulling tidbits we've heard and read and seen
until the 16th.
Until the 16th.
We're supposed to drop. It better drop on the 16th. So, speaking of which, the 16th is supposed to drop. There are some of us that are going to this small thing called LVO.
What's that, Daren?
The Las Vegas Open is a big convention in Las Vegas. It's kind of becoming like Adepticon West a little bit. Actually, the dealer hall this last year was pretty nice. It's growing. It's a great convention, and I tend to have a lot of fun there.
But is it all minis? Like there's no like board games. There's no hobby tutorial sessions.
You know what?
Or you don't know?
I don't look for any of that stuff. I just go down there.
Because that's the only thing that sounds like Adepticon would have on LVO. They have the other.
I just go down there for the mini stuff,
right?
And so I don't look into that, which shame on me. And
and
Fremont Street, I go down there for Fremont Street and for that. In fact, we're gonna throw some pictures up of Dave, our local game store owner.
Yes,
Dave and the Dominatrix. So, in fact, he didn't make it to the team tournament.
I believe we've kind of
did we hint it? We talked
because I remember saying I wasn't his teammate.
He was not
there.
He was not. Dave was supposed to. Okay, so Dave was supposed to be at this thing. It was a Saturday, and I didn't make the cut for Sunday, obviously. And so, it's because of that, I always register for the team tournament because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be playing in the team tournament the next day.
Except this year.
Right. So, Dave and I went out and decided to tie one on Saturday night, which is no different because we're in Vegas. It's no different than Thursday night or Friday night. However, we really hit it pretty hard Saturday night, and we ended up down on Fremont Street, and we got really drunk. And at one point, Dave was in the back seat of the taxi cab, and he kept telling me that he shouldn't be driving because he was entirely too drunk to drive from the back seat.
Don't drink and drive.
Yes, he was being very safe. You shouldn't be letting me drive. I'm too drunk. You're good, Dave. Don't worry. No, I'm too drunk. You shouldn't be letting me drive. Okay, Dave, you got it. So, yeah. And then he tells some story about waking up in the hotel room, forgetting where he was at, not having any pants on, laying on the floor. And it was a good time. I'll tell you the story if you're at LVO and we happen to like be hanging out or something, or especially when Dave's there because he's
going again. They're going to do the team tournament again.
Now Dave will never hear the end of this.
Of course not. This story.
Oh, well, that's fine. That's why we do things like this.
Right.
Yeah, so he doesn't hear the end of it ever.
He's Legion famous.
Yeah, and so and then we'll put his picture up.
Free for good famous.
Yeah. Infamous. Yeah. So so there's that. In fact, we could sit around and tell all kinds of stories that I've been with people that partied and had a good time.
Yeah, you got some from Adepticon.
Every Gen Con.
Everyone you've done.
That sounds like a paint and chat.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we could sit around with some of those guys and do a paint and chat. That'd be a great idea. We could tell.
I think that's Rich's way of trying to keep us on topic. Is that what he's
Good
doing?
luck. So it was. We have a good time.
LVO is coming up.
LVO is coming up, and so LVO is coming up.
LVO?
I don't really know.
26th, the last weekend in January.
Yeah, last weekend in January.
Which is after the 16th of January.
Yeah.
And it's a major tournament that has a Worlds qualifier invite.
With a big rules change.
And only nobody knows the rules.
Days. Only 10 or 11 days. So it is going to shake things up a bit. So not exactly.
Because Legion is the same, but it's going to be a little different.
Not exactly sure how this is going to affect the game. I'm kind of looking forward to it because with the points change, the possible rules changes that we're talking about, it's going to make things play a little differently or possibly differently, I think. And because of that, so I've wanted to make a couple of lists for this.
In practice. You should practice your lists.
You should.
Before going to a major tournament.
But with the rules drop coming and not being 100% sure on how things go, I don't want to get too in-depth with something and go, oh, this is really cool, and then...
That's why I played Cody last night, because Cody's not going to be legal for Adepticon. We don't think he's coming out until Q2. Yeah. And I need to start...
Fun.
Oh, my gosh.
The way he is
Cody is awesome.
Yeah.
Even without his command cards, I would take him. If I could take him, just what was leaked, I would wholeheartedly take him. But I want to practice for the last chance qualifier because that's what I'm going up there for. Because Adepticon has said there's a last chance qualifier. They're allowing 64 people. That's what I'm going to go and try and do. but I can't prep for it yet because
but
we don't know what's
you'll have
different.
months. I'll have days.
Right, you'll have a couple weeks, a week and a
I'll
half.
have days.
It's
It's not going to make a
understand.
difference for me, but still, the
No,
other
it
good players are going to have.
You're going to be up
days.
there. This is your time.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
broken again.
Yeah.
They've put us back into
Right.
the ascendancy.
Yeah.
So I guess my beef is I understand they wanted to hype it up, so they did the article drops in December.
Right.
Maybe they should have just came out and said, "Hey, we know we told you guys we were going to do points updates in December. We want to let you know we're doing a rules update. We're going to do the points update on the same time on, say, January 6th or the 5th instead of the 16th." Because I get it. They didn't want to drop new rules and then go away for Christmas and New Year and not be fully engaged with all of the questions that are going to be on the forums and the topics that come up. But you don't need to wait until the 16th because I'm pretty sure we're not Europe and you take a month off for Christmas. Pretty sure we're the U.S. and you get maybe a week. Except I don't know because I haven't had those days. I've been working this whole past week. So
me too. So but I just got my email today or yesterday from LJ for LVO.
For LVO,
yeah, for LVO. Thank you, and
they've extended when the due date is.
They extended the due date for the lists because of it. And then I will be using the new system also. So registering on the
game
new system.
uplink.
Yeah, Game Uplink. So we'll be using Game Up.
You'll get to tell me how it is firsthand.
Yeah, so using
and I'll stalk him on that.
Yeah. So we'll be using Game Uplink for the first time. So that's kind of cool. I'll be looking forward to messing with that a little bit. And so without further ado, because I've been rambling a little bit.
Oh, I rambled for the first part, so it's fine.
Well, but I keep thinking about us and Fremont Street and God, I have a lot of time, a lot of fun in Vegas.
Yeah,
down there.
well, it's Vegas. You're not going to have any fun now because you're going to be playing Legion all days. You're going to make it. Well, I'm going to go.
I play Legion when I'm down there anyway. It's just
you're going to keep playing. You're going to win.
Somewhat
Cirillo can't make it. He was the one that there you go.
Okay.
Boom.
All right. So I've made a tentative list. So and the reason is this is very tentative
because we don't know the changes.
We don't know the changes, and some of it is because of Cody and some of the fun I had with Cody. So I experimented with the ISPs, the infantry support platforms with Cody.
You did.
I enjoy using them. They probably not meta.
I think without direct, they're not going to be as good.
No. No. Absolutely.
That would be my one looking at this. I'm like, you have no way to guarantee orders onto both of those.
Oh no.
So,
except for one turn.
Right, one turn when you pop your HQ uplink that's on the one.
And do the
synchronized
offensive. So, right. And so they're not going to be as good without direct, which is fine. But we're going to see. So I don't usually do this, but I threw Chewbacca in it because with the new panic rules.
If those new panic rules are what we think they are.
Yeah, if they are the way.
Having a dash commander.
Yeah, for
Lord Vader is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Lord Vader is going to come back a little bit, I think.
Yep.
And Chewie, once I get 4 wounds, then you get a dash.
So either you don't shoot Chewie and he gets to do what he wants.
Yeah.
And you don't shoot the clone commander because Chewie just guardians the clone
and so
commander.
that then gives me a little bit more leeway then for worrying about panic and all that.
Because if you don't have to worry about panic, your guys are just suppressed. Well, you're not dropping objectives as of right now.
So that's kind of why I threw him in there. I like the clone commander. I thought about Rex instead, but I like direct with the ISPs and the N5s. Right. I like that. And so I'm considering putting R2 back on the list. So
to keep the ISPs.
Yes. And for a threat. So okay. So anybody that's going to end up playing me, or the 2 people that watch this that may play me,
man, if you guys tag against Daren, you are going to be above the curve because he's going all the way. So listen up.
Oh, whatever. So when I do take R2, I always the secret mission for most
Never
people,
happens.
it doesn't happen. I don't think all that often with unless you're playing for it.
Unless you build the list that this is
build
what
the list that I'm going to get a secret mission. And so most of the time I keep R2 just to heal vehicles, and that's not like any secret that a lot of people do that also, and an extra activation.
Did it last night.
Yeah, cheaper activation makes a difference.
It does.
However, when in deployment, I always wait to last with him because
Your opponent doesn't know.
the opponent doesn't know, or if it, depending on how everything is deployed, I may stick him on an end.
Right. If it's battle lines.
If it's battle
everybody's on
lines and
one
you
side.
and you leave, if my opponent leaves everybody on one side, and I think, well, what the hell? Let's run for secret mission and give him something else to worry about, So I think I might stick him back in the list.
Yeah, I can
for
see
that and pull out. And also, I don't usually take phase twos. However, with panic and suppression the way it is,
Right. That could be something you need to worry about.
that extra pip or extra courage, it could make a difference in keeping something or not keeping something.
There's
Also,
a huge difference between 2 and 4 suppression. So
yeah,
in a
exactly,
non-suppressive
exactly.
gun line.
And then for fun, now you got to remember this is going to get a lot of play testing. Got to remember, I threw a mortar trooper in because
I saw that.
it's an extra gun.
Goes out to range 4.
That goes out to range 4, suppressive, because
Suppression might be a thing.
it might be a thing. And then, so with the ISPs, I generally put the twin beam cannons on them. And people think, why? Well,
if suppression becomes the thing.
well, yeah. And so I put the 327 Star Corps Elite Armor Pilot on them because I like Surgeon Crit.
It's amazing. It's a drug.
And so the way this works is you've got 5s. So I'm getting a couple orders out there on my troops.
You're getting at least 2 core units that will be able to fire support because the clone commander is directing to 5s. 5 is coordinating to probably an RSB squad.
Yes.
Maybe the phase 2, depending on what's
depending on what's going on. Okay, and so now you're surging crit with at least the first shot of the beams, and then you're sending the beams out, and the beams, they're not, after the first shot they're not great, but now with this I may throw a wound on it, but I'll be throwing out suppression. Okay, and so that's 6 shots per round with 2 units. That's 6 extra.
That's 6 suppression.
6 suppression out there, and you can gang up, you can do stuff, and then then you're throwing out suppression. So it's not an effective suppression line, but I think I got something working here with an idea for some of this. So currently, Chewbacca, Clone Commander, phase 1s with 5s, and that will then give them an extra courage.
Right, so now they're courage 2.
They're courage 2. 2 phase 1s with the RPSs.
I mean, finish your list.
All right.
I'm gonna go into my list making.
And then phase 2s, 2 phase 2s, 1 with a mortar, just because, and then 2 ISPs. So that's kind of a start.
Right off the bat, if you want to get R2 into it, drop your phase 1 that has 5s, put 5s in the phase 2, and you've got the point still.
Yeah.
Now you got R2.
Right.
And now you've got a courage 3 core unit.
Yeah.
Because 5s is in the phase 2.
Yes, and that's kind of, as I'm looking at it, and that's kind of the idea.
It gives you 2 surges. If you get to keep the 2 surges you're going to have for probably defense, because I never spend the surges on offense, because red saves will fail you when you least want it. So
yeah, and so I haven't really picked completely the upgrade cards and all that stuff yet. For I've got some ideas for Chewbacca and Clone Commander.
I mean, Chewbacca doesn't really. I would say he probably doesn't need situational awareness, just because he doesn't have good ways of getting dodges.
Right.
If you'd want to do anything, I would say Protector, because then he could dodge crits that go on the Clone Commander.
Yeah.
And then that gives him more wounds, so now he's getting.
And then he gets the dash.
He gets his dash sooner. So that would be what I would just off the bat change, is because Chewbacca doesn't have agile. He's not the Wookiee chieftain.
No. And
so
I probably won't be taking any of any of the Wookiee cards because it's
they don't
only him and doesn't really apply to.
It affects troopers, and you need to get orders out to the vehicles.
Yeah.
Your list is centered around you being able to pick when your beam targets go, because you're already going to get those 2 free orders for fire supporting.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to get that out. Now, also, I mean, Chewbacca's no slouch in range.
No, I know.
I mean, with 2 red, 2 white, surge hit with critical 1, pierce 1, impact 1. I mean, he's not a bad, hey, my beam tank is gone, or I didn't get the order onto it, and now I pulled a commander. If the clone commander can't help me, well, hey, Chewbacca's got a range 3 impact gun that can do some damage.
Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, this is just it's like a work in progress, and we'll see. I got to get some games in, find out what the rules are, and then because I've also messed with pulling the ISPs and then putting ATRTs in it with different weapon types.
Oh, in this list, I would almost if you're gonna drop the ISPs, I would say just put Wookiees in.
No, straight up Wookiees.
Just take squads of Wookiees.
Yeah.
Maybe drop the clone commander, because now you're not worried about fire supporting, and try and get the chieftain in there. Yeah, Chieftain, Chewbacca, all the Wookiees. You've got linebacker units. You've got I mean, you can even take shooty Wooks. I mean, they're not horrible.
Yeah.
If you want to do the fire support, if you want to stay doing the fire support, and you're going to drop the ISPs, I would put in shooty Wooks in their place, because they've got tons of wounds they're going to have to chew through. They've got surge hit. They're sharpshooter 1, so they can help drop some of that cover down. And they throw an okay dice pool. It's a lot of white dice, but if you're going to be fire supporting in blacks, it doesn't really matter that they're only throwing 2 whites each at range. So, or you just go with the hit W and take 3 Wookiee squads, and you just go forward and chomp. I mean,
that is
something you have to think about when you go to a major, especially a multi-day tournament.
Yeah. Because
you are going to get drained faster than what you think playing Legion. If you have to always be thinking and trying to set things up, Yoda, he's powerful, but man, you got to think when you use him every game. You've got to make sure you've got things set up. That's going to mentally drain you. If you can just hit the easy button or hit W on the keyboard,
especially
and
there's
across the board,
hungover or still
right when you make it to day 3 and you're in the top table and it's like game whatever and you're like getting streamed and you're like, I just gotta hit W. Yeah. We're just gonna keep throwing things forward. It's fine. That's what we gotta do.
They do testing at work, right? You haven't smoked or anything on your way down.
Me?
Yeah, being a little stoned, be making it to day 3.
Dude, it's your time. New rules. Everything's changing.
Yeah, we thought that before on X-Wing too, and I was kicking
this is definitely not X-Wing.
I was kicking ass and taking names, and then I'd go up there and go like 4-0 and then lose out.
Yeah, you need to get that 5th win.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and we'll see. I'm actually more kind of because I'm not going to LVO, so I'm more pumped about the last chance qualifier to figure out, okay, do they know how many they're taking?
Oh well, yeah. I don't know.
Because before
so I have to make sure I get registered for the last chance qualifier too.
Right, and then you can just cancel that once you get your invite. I do think that's kind of cool. There has been a call from the community to not use the last chance qualifier as warm-up rounds if you already have your invite.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just allow people, which it's kind of funny because some people joke, well, who doesn't have their invites? None of us local players do. We don't travel enough, so nobody in our local area has invites. The Wisconsin guys, I don't know how many of them have invites or not.
I don't know.
I mean, so
there's a few of those guys that have them. I know.
Right.
I know.
So I mean,
I'm pretty sure Jay does. I don't know about the rest
of them.
I don't know.
But
they could sound off if they feel like it. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, there are. I mean, I know we're in the Midwest and everybody forgets about us. We are here. We're not East Coast. We're not West Coast.
Flyover country.
We are here, and I mean, there's not a lot of big tournaments in the Midwest. We get Texas. I can't drive to Texas.
Adepticon is like
right, but that's the last chance qualifier. I mean, like there's LVOs in Vegas. You've got Atlantic City is out east. You've got the ones out in California. You've got the ones down in Texas. Now there's one going to be in the Rocky Mountains. That's still like a 12-hour drive for us.
Right.
And then Stabcast, they've got their Cherokee, and that's probably a 6 to 7 hour. Like there's nothing close by except Chicago, and Chicago only has the Epticon. So this is kind of where the Midwest guys get to try and make it, I guess. Except you're gonna go to LVO and win, so it's fine. You'll be excluded from that.
Not gonna win.
You keep saying that.
I know.
Stop trying to lull them into a false sense of security.
I would be happy making day 2. That would make yeah. Getting drunk, eating some good food, having a good time. I don't really gamble, so but yeah.
That's right. You played the dice game of Legion. You don't need to gamble.
Which is why I don't gamble.
Right? Right?
Yeah. No, I play too many games of chance with dice. I know how that works. I hand my money to
better at craps than I do at these kind of games.
Yeah.
I will say, Darren, like something you can because I mean you have currently 16 points.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In your list.
I haven't. Yeah.
You could easily in you're gonna think I'm crazy because I'm gonna say this. You could easily add an engineer or a medic to your phase 2 squad.
I've considered
because
that's an extra firearm.
14 and 15 points.
It's an extra gun.
One repair or one heal.
Yeah.
So hey, Chewbacca's getting ready to drop. You need to keep him up. Hey, he gets another wound back. I mean, like I have been making lists because if I can get wounds back into Obi-Wan when he's guardian, because I guardian crazy with Obi-Wan. I mean, even for 4 points more than a regular trooper.
When I'm guardian with Obi-Wan, it just means he's going to die sooner.
Well, I mean, that's usually what happens with me after a while. But now I'll have medics to help keep them up, and they're not a bazillion points. So, I mean...
I do have an Obi-Wan version of this list also.
That is what you should run, because I'm a big Obi-Wan fan.
Yeah, and I do like that also. Okay, so kind of a version of this list I ran with Anakin. And I like running Anakin, but I think...
Because Anakin, you've ran Anakin a lot.
I have,
and so that would be a easier double you.
Yeah, I've tried Anakin a lot. The problem I have with Anakin is you've got to get his car. If you want him to be,
you've got to get his cards out.
You've got to get his cards out.
Which means you can't do air support. You can't do the other cards.
Synchronized offensive.
If you get flawed to where you can't play his card to give him this, I mean,
yeah. So
it can snowball.
And there's ways to not be flawed, but it's
there are.
Yeah. So it's one more thing that I have to worry about, which is why I kind of switched to Obi because he is the way he is, and you don't.
That dice pool Anakin can throw.
Oh yeah. But I don't roll blanks on reds.
I know, but you get 5 of them to start with.
I'll roll blanks with all 5 of them too sometimes.
That happens too. Yeah. But you probably rolled all those blanks less than double rainbow.
Oh yeah.
That's
but yeah, no. So either way, I don't know. So I've got the same list.
And honestly, we also don't know what else is going to change with keywords just in general, because again, they are redoing the entire rule book. So it could be that scouting party that Rex has is going to be completely different than what it is now. It could be a completely different wording of it. It could be that agile is going to be different now. It could be that all of these different keywords, lethal, high velocity, anything that's a keyword, they really haven't said anything about changing errata or changing cards, which could happen or it might not. I'm just going to assume it's not happening because they haven't said it is. But if they change how jump works, well, maybe I need to take arcs with jump packs now because they've completely changed jump, or they've changed impervious, or who knows?
Yeah.
We don't.
As of right now, we don't know. So we're just kind of go on that, But I don't think it's going to change as much as what some people think it's going to change.
No, I think they're going to update everything to where agile will talk about not being you have to perform a move action, not a move X, because originally agile and tactical were if you perform a speed X move.
Right.
They've now changed that. I think that's what will get updated. Will be the new version. Will just stay in there. It's not going to. They're not going to adjust it back, I don't think. So it would be cool if they did. They won't.
But yeah, so that's kind of what's mulling around in my head. Of course, this will change 12 times. before the 16th, and then when the 16th, then I'll try it a couple of times. And
Right.
this doesn't
I
work.
mean, you've got like lead by example could be huge. Getting Inspire in because now you can pull that suppression off to stop units from being panicked mid-game. I mean, or mid-turn or end of turn. You could see Leia with Inspire 4 running around in every Rebel list because they're going to need that to make sure the Rebels can win by objective because that's how Rebels win.
Yeah.
They win by objective.
So
we've got about 25 minutes of battery left.
Okay.
That's fine. I think we're about talked out.
Yeah, I think so. I think
We're wrapping it up.
Yeah, we're wrapping it up. Yeah.
I won't go off
He
on
didn't
another
do this way.
tangent.
He went like this. Not like this.
Right. Trying to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Not go off on a tangent.
Not stretch it out.
Hey, we could
This is-
change
this
this
is-
to a Rebel list, and then you could bring Mando and Commander Skywalker and Boba
I
Fett,
would have to get too
and
much
then
painted.
and then
I'm
bring
not
in
gonna do
a
that.
Pike Capo, so then he has the Underworld's
I
connection,
would
so
have
you
to
can bring
I
Mando
would
and
have
Boba.
to get too much painted. We're not doing that.
Our
Yeah.
store would have to get Boba in to be able to run that, which I don't think Dave still has. I don't
No,
think
he
like his
doesn't.
distributor even allowed him to pre-order it because he was surprised when I asked him if he had it on order. He didn't. He was like, I don't think he's taking the pre-order for it. I'm like,
Dave
He's-
needs new distributors.
he's released in the he's in the wild. He's been
Yeah,
released
yeah.
officially.
Yep.
And that's what we were going to do. We were going to talk about Mando and make a Mando list on this version.
Yeah.
And no, we're not going to do that because 25 minutes is not enough time for me to go through from scratch. There's no way. There's no way. That'll be a painting stream where I just stop painting and just start making lists while everybody else is painting.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
just
and the
have
cool
to connect the battery
Yeah.
to power.
Yes.
Like the camera's
The
power.
cool
to
part
the
about
battery.
this list is see, I kind of come up with this list, and now he's going to look at it, and then his brain is going to be.
Oh, it's
working.
already going. Like that's why I said, you could just drop the phase 1, put 5s in the
Yeah.
phase 2
Oh,
because
yeah,
his
yeah,
point's the same, and then
yeah.
now you've got R2.
Yeah.
And then you can take R2's 3-pip, which gives you an order to R2 and 1 trooper unit, put comms relay on R2, so then you can just relay that order to your wonderful tank, because R2 doesn't need the order because you don't care when R2 goes. You can give an order to somebody else. Your clone commander then is issuing an order to 5, so then you've got 3 units that can fire support in, 3 different units. It's just, you have
See?
lots of options.
See.
Yeah, and then like we're not even talking about how well do you really want the mortar? I mean, do you maybe just want that to be a Z6 to throw 6 more white dice as opposed to giving you suppression? Just go ahead and give you 6 white dice. So I mean, there's Oh, is that what you're just gonna fade it in?
No. Focus.
Oh,
Focus.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, I mean, my brain's already. It's like that one meme that shows the person trying to do the math equation. That's what's going on. Like, well, you could drop this. I'm like, does he really need the clone commander? I'm like, if he drops those ISPs, he could take ATRTs. He doesn't need fire support with the ATRTs, or he might. But then you could throw in the chieftain, so then you have 2 melee threats right there. Which is why I say if you drop those, and sorry, focus.
Yeah.
All right, we're done. Like I said, that's why we can't make a list from scratch. And this is why I have probably 80 lists saved on Tabletop Admiral for all the factions. So
Thanks for hanging out with us if you did, and if you're going to LVO, no shit, like comment or something like that. Look me up, message me on Facebook, something like that, because we do go out. We don't go like back to the hotel. And
that is like the Legion community as a whole doesn't usually do that.
Yeah, no. So in fact, I think after there's a get together one night at LVO after one of the nights, and everybody kind of gets together, and I guess they kind of took over a place last year. So I'll try and make that this year because I guess I didn't know about it or I didn't. Or
I think it was they decided on a place. The original place they were going to go to was closed or was full.
Yeah.
So then they just went to another place and just like, and we're taking all the seats.
The thing though, okay, to go back to LVO quick
It's not just me.
it's not just him. So I didn't get into the doubles tournament with Dave. I went and I hung out and spent money I didn't need to spend. However, the Rams were in the NFC Championship game that day against San Francisco. And I'm a big Rams fan. And so I got to sit and without having to go to the Legion, I watched
to enjoy it.
I got to scream at the TV and watch them win that game and go to the Super Bowl and eventually win. which they're not going to do this year. But
we don't talk about this year then for you, Darren. It's fine.
they're still currently the reigning world champions.
Super
Yeah,
Bowl
Bowl
champs.
All right. So stop watching us. Go roll some dice. Make some comments in the comment section. We don't care what it is. Well,
Right.
no, I really don't care what it is.
Yeah.
Say whatever you want. Okay. Take care. Thanks.